Hello everybody and welcome back to Typical City. 1 point we are potentially away from qualifying into the knockout stages of the Champions League. 1 point is all it'll take as long as Red Star Belgrade fail to beat RB Leipzig, which is quite a likely scenario, and City draw tomorrow night at the Etihad Stadium against Young Boys, then we're through. We've done it. I don't think we're going to be taking this game lightly. I do think there's going to be some rotation, factoring in the Premier League game that's coming up at Stamford Bridge away to Chelsea this Sunday, a game I cannot wait for. 2 watch-alongs coming up from me, of course, tomorrow night at the Etihad Stadium. I will be doing a watch-along, not at the actual stadium, I won't be there, I'll be sat right here, so come and join me. Come and join me for that one, it will be a fun one, as well as Sunday, of course, away to Stamford Bridge, which we will have one eye on, of course, but I don't think Pep will take this too lightly to the point of playing, academy players or anything like that. Obviously, we've not qualified yet. Even if we were to qualify tonight, I still think going forward, Pep will take it incredibly seriously. I don't think the club, Ferran Soriano, Khaldoon Mubarak and the individuals, the hierarchy above Pep Guardiola, they won't allow him to say, no, you can't rest players in this because of the UEFA coefficiency rankings. City want to be top of that. It matters going forward. These league tables, how these UEFA coefficiency rankings are worked out going back way longer than they should, in my opinion. I'm not a fan of the system and how it works, but City are top of that table right now with the most points, 130 points worked out with very different variables of how you attain these points. Bayern Munich are second. They want to keep that spot in group stages, albeit even if you're through, you lose games in the group stages, you get less points. City want as many points as possible, and we could potentially go 28 games unbeaten in the Champions League, home games unbeaten in the Champions League. And if we were to do that, we're only 2 games away from the English record, which is held by Liverpool, who've gone 30 games at Anfield unbeaten. And we're not far away. Another record we're about to beat, another record. But we can't take Young Boys lightly. They are a good outfit. We found out at the Wankdorf Stadium. That's right, the Wankdorf Stadium. Don't pretend you don't enjoy calling that the name that it is. Don't pretend you don't enjoy saying that. Wankdorf Stadium. And their manager, Raphael Wiki Wild Wild West. I'm enjoying everything about Young Boys and their names. They're a very enjoyable football club. I do actually quite like them, the way they operate. They dominate their Swiss Super League. 5 out of the last Swiss Super Leagues they've won. They're currently top of it right now by a point, but with a game in hand. They won 4-1 at the weekend with 10 men. They get goal differences. Last season, their goal difference was 52 plus, which was ahead of second place Servette, who had a +5 goal difference, so they know how to find the back of the net, as we found out at the Wankdorf Stadium with Elia, with that lovely, delicious chip over Edison. Came out of nowhere, that goal. Complete domination from Manchester City at the Wankdorf Stadium. I'm going to keep saying it, by the way. 3-1, the game pans out eventually, and it should have been 4 or 5 before half-time. The chances that we spurned, Erling Haaland was missing plenty of chances. Too many chances, really, but now he's found his feet, but will he even be playing? Probably not, due to an ankle injury, which I'll get onto shortly. Hopefully that's not long-term, but still, I think there's going to be rotation. The game panned out reasonably well in the end with Akanji, with a bit of a poacher's goal right after the break, after the half-time interval. Akanji finds the back of the net from a corner after Ruben Diaz's booming header hits the crossbar after Racioppi's save. Akanji poaches. Erling Haaland penalty, which was a definite penalty on Rodri, fouled in the build-up play. Haaland tucks it away. Could have been saved a little bit. Penalty that ends up in the back of the net is a good penalty in my books, but still went through the hands of Racioppi. Should have saved that one, in fairness, but there is no saving that third goal. If you need a reminder, go and check on the highlights, because Erling Haaland's third goal rifled into that top right-hand corner with his right foot. Beautiful finish. Hopefully see something similar from probably Julian Alvarez and other players of that ilk rather than Erling Haaland, but we can't be taking these guys too lightly. We really need to be factoring in that they can find the back of the net, as I've said. I'm going to get onto the team news now, or my predicted starting 11 at least, starting with Young Boys. Racioppi in goal. They tend to play a 4-4-2 diamond. That's what they have been playing, but they didn't play that against us when we went to the Wankdorf Stadium. They ended up more of a flat 4-3-3, which was very, very narrow, and I think they're going to employ that same tactic again. Normally they've been playing Janko at right back, but they did go for Bloom at right back. I think they'll do the same again. An almost identical formation and selection that I think they'll play again, because it didn't bode too badly for them. I know they lost the game 3-1 in the end, but they did create some chances at the Wankdorf Stadium. And, you know, they nullified us to a certain degree, you know. Eventually we wore them down. They stand very little chance of winning this game, in truth. But I do believe that they're going to pose some kind of threat. I think Benito's going to go in at centre-back alongside Kamara, who is on a yellow card, so he'll be mindful of that. Young Boys have got something to fight for as well. Currently sitting in third right now, Young Boys, and they're only slim ahead of Red Star Belgrade, sitting in third, with Belgrade being in fourth, and they're only ahead on a cleaner disciplinary record. So they are looking for Europa League. They're probably thinking, right, we're out of the Champions League now, but so they've got something to fight for. That third spot, Europa League spot, they're going to go for that. Red Star obviously in there as well. Kamara's going to be thinking about, if he gets a yellow card in this game, he's out of the Red Star Belgrade game, which is a huge blow for Young Boys. So could we take advantage of that? Sit a striker on him all game and force him into making challenges he doesn't want to make the most of those situations, and any little advantage you can get, you take it, don't you? I'm going to go with Garcia at left back. That's the same back four that they played against us in the previous week. And then it was Lauper sitting in front of the back two centre backs, with Niasse alongside him, as well as Ugranic, who's a decent outlet player for them. As well as up top, we're going to go with Itten, the big man up top for them, Cedric Itten. And I think alongside them, we're probably going to see Elia again, and Monteiro right wing, which I think will be the same sort of style. Narrow. You see how narrow I've gone with that? I think it'll be similar again. More often than not, you'll see Monteiro tucked back here, and Elia tucked in, and probably Cedric Itten tucking back even deeper, and Elia will probably be the out ball for them, as we saw for their counter-attacking goal, which is what they do. Young Boys are a counter-attacking outfit, so I think we can expect the same again. A deep-lying, central, low block. But that's how I think Young Boys will line up. In terms of City, I think I'm going to go with Edison in goal. We've got a few young boys of our own, haven't we, really, that we could play in Jeremy Doku. I'm not sure Doku's going to play in this game. He deserves a start. It's not through lack of deserving it after those 4 assists and a goal. He deserved it. You know, he deserves a start, but I just think he might have one idea, and resting and maybe rotating a few players, and Oscar Bob's appearance as well is probably going to get him a starting spot in the starting 11. For me, anyway, I think he deserves one for that little impact substitute appearance. But at the back, centrally, I'm going to go with Ruben Diaz and Manuel Akanji, another Swiss who scored against the Swiss side of Young Boys. Can he get another against them? That'll be interesting. Gvardiol, who didn't play at the weekend, will likely come in due to his freshness after not playing at the weekend. I'm going to go with Rico Lewis at right back. It won't stay like that. That back four won't stay like that, of course. In front of them, I am going to go with Rodri, which is a bit of a risk. You know, we only played on Saturday and now we're playing Tuesday. A little bit of a risk minutes-wise is what I'm worried about. Minutes, injuries for Rodri. But you know how assertive City are with him in the team, and the difference when he's not there, we've seen it already. So I do think Rodri will play in this game, because the game, it's not done. We need to qualify. I do think we're going to see Kovacic and Mateus Nunes in front of them. I just got rid of Rodri somehow. There's Rodri. Put him back in. What you doing, Rodri? Running away? You're not going anywhere, mate. Get in that team. Nunes in front of them. And then I'm going to go for Oscar Bob on the right. I like that idea. I'm quite keen on it, to be honest. And I think he deserves a start. He's shown he's more than capable. He comes on in a 9-minute spell against Bournemouth and gets himself an assist and 2 key passes. It was a good performance. I'd like to see him start in this game. I do think Jack Grealish is going to start on the other side, which is another game for him to prove himself. Following on from Doku's performance, he'll be thinking, right, Doku got 4 assists and a goal at the weekend. Time for my time to shine. Jack Grealish's time to shine and prove what he's all about. It's going to be a different style of footballer. Obviously, he is a very different player, but something, an opportunity, a platform to prove himself. And Young Boys is a good opposition to, you know, get some headlines. Jack Grealish headlines, and I hope he does. HAALAND, the rumours are that it's not as serious as first feared, but even if it's like a 10% injury, you know, he could still play. He won't be risked in this type of game. Considering Stamford Bridge at the weekend, surely not. Surely not. So I have gone with Julian Alvarez up top. In practice, in theory, that's how the team will look in practice. I think you're going to see something along the lines of this, with Rico Lewis tucking inside, with making that box in midfield that we usually see with Ruben Diaz and Gvardiol and Akanji making up the back three, Rico Lewis inverting as a second double pivot alongside Rodri, Mateus Nunes and Kovacic filling that gap and trying to get as close to Julian Alvarez as possible, with Jack Grealish and Oscar Bob occupying the wide channels with no inverted winger this time. That's my formation anyway. When we tend to have an inverted fullback, we don't invert the winger as well. We tend to have one inverted player, whether it's a fullback or a winger, one or the other. But that's my predicted starting 11. In terms of predicted scoreline, I haven't thought about it. Off the top of my head right now, I'm going to go with 4-0. You know, there isn't as potent a goal threat in that starting 11 that I've put there. But I still think there's enough talent there to go and comfortably win the game. 4-0 is what I'm going for. What are your predictions, Blues? Get them in the comments below. I really want to hear them. I will be doing a watch-along as well. Tuesday night, come and join me for that as well. It'll be a good one. Hopefully we win and qualify into the knockout stages of the Champions League. Please drop a like on this video. It really does help. And I'll see you in the next one.
This is typical City now, holding up Silva.